Hello, I am Raziel, and today I'm going to talk about Battletech. Now, I'll be honest with you, Battletech isn't really a game I would play or have much interest in. I've seen it, I've read some of the lore, it's quite interesting, but my interest in Battletech at the moment is its rise in popularity. Now, I've seen Battletech in many forums about 40k. Many people are, I'm not going to say everyone's leaving and or be that sort of person that is, completely absolute on either side. Everyone's leaving 40k because of this, right? No. A lot of people are moving away from 40k because actually their profits are up, but their sales are down. Okay, that is a fact. But so people are moving to Battletech. Okay, fine. People are doing it. It's their choice. It's their money. And what is interesting is about Battletech becoming so more popular than now is what it means to wargaming and how important Battletech is, especially in the era now we're in, where the smaller scale is becoming something that people are playing. Battletech is around about near enough same scale as Epic and now Warpath. Now, I'm more interested in Warpath. It looks really interesting to me. I like the Mantic lore. I preferred Firefight lore and Warpath lore to 40k lore. To me, there is something far more terrifying than to live under a corporatist, dictatorship where your worth is literally a dollar value, compared to a theocratic dictatorship where that they could bypass certain things if you believe you can prove your faith. Dollar value, as soon as you don't have that, you're dead. If you can be an old man if you're still faithful. So yeah, to me that scares me more. That really does. The DCPS is one of the most scariest things I've read. And I'm not any far near a form of leftist, socialist, liberal, okay? I'm not that side inclined, but that does terrify me. Anyway, back to Battletech and why it's important. Now, as I said, the smaller scale is becoming popular with Warpath. We've also got, even far smaller with Armada being popular, and of course Dystopia Wars being Warcradle's biggest game. So, why Battletech? Why is Battletech so important to become so popular? Now, it is number 3 in the charts. It is just bypassed Age of Sigmar, so it's getting popular because Battletech kind of started this range, this scale. It was the game Titan Legions, the original Epic game, was based on. Battletech came out in 1984, and it was first. So it is the history. And to see something become so important, become popular again, is quite impressive. Now, as I said, it's not a game that interests me. There are several aspects of Battletech I don't like. What I've seen in the models that they seem to be made prior to you painting them. I mean, painting them's fine, but that sort of thing that doesn't gel well with me because I like to build my models. That is one of my favourite parts of this hobby. Sitting there and building models, I enjoy it. It's something I really like doing. So with Battletech, it looks like many of those models are pre-built. Yeah, that kind of doesn't gel with me. So this scale now being popular, and the first, what I can tell, is now number 3 in the charts, shows that there is definitely a market for this now. And one thing about Battletech, which not many people know, it actually suffered a bankruptcy. Almost completely went. Absolutely. It almost completely disappeared. That we would have never seen another Battletech again because the company that it was owned by went under. And then Catalyst Miniatures, I believe Catalyst Miniatures brought the IP and then used Kickstarter to resurrect the game. And it did well. It did fantastically. It was one of the most funded Kickstarters in the history of Kickstarter. I really hate saying that. So, this market for it is obviously shown. And the fact that people are moving towards it and people are playing it, and it is becoming really popular. I mean, I very rarely see no one not talk about it now. Yeah, again, I do play lesser games, and this is, after 5 minutes, I'm actually going to get to this point. This is showing that lesser games do still have a market, and it is worth supporting your favourite game. It really is, and this is what I want to talk about, because it doesn't matter how big or small your game is, or how many people play it, supporting it on Facebook, on social media, showing your love for that particular game will help it. Getting it out there, talking about it in any way, shape or form is great. And I think this is what we should do. And I think I've joked about with my partner and other people that us tabletop gamers have the best console in the world. We have a table and we can play so many different games on it. And okay, they're usually real-time strategies, but we do get to play a lot of games on it. And our table can be 1,000 different worlds within a week. It can be fantasy, westerns, World War II, science fiction, everything and anything. And it's great that we can do this in our imagination. We can build these fantastic armies which are 100 men all ready to kill and destroy and fight. To the next 5 minutes have a small two gangs fighting each other to the death over some mediocre or piffle resources. So with Battletech being popular, I think it's definitely a time that we should, as a community of tabletop gamers, start talking about our favourite games. Don't get shoehorned into what's popular. If your favourite game is 40k, your favourite game is 40k. Talk about 40k. Talk about it to everyone and anyone. Okay? But not everyone's favourite game is 40k. And if your favourite game is not 40k, talk about your favourite game. Talk about the game that you love the most. I often do now. I've really got to a point where I am speaking about Wild West Exodus to almost any tabletop gamer I meet. I will just talk about it because I'm so fascinated by it. It's definitely one of the best settings I've ever seen. It's fun, it's exciting, it's a brilliant game. And therefore, this is why I talk about it. And like I said, it is a time where I think we should start talking about our favourite games. Not just the popular ones, Dungeons and Dragons, and 40k and Age of Sigmar, but the games that many people might not have heard of and are growing in popularity. Start talking about Dystopia Wars. Talk about, which again is a fantastic game and it's one that's so much fun to play. And talk about your favourite faction. Why is that your favourite faction? Why? Let's think. My favourite faction for Dystopia Wars is the Union. I like the Union. I like their ships. I like the John Henry. That is a fantastic robot. It's big hammer and it can fly. You got the Independence. Even got some famous ships like the Enterprise. That's another thing I like about Dystopia Wars and Wild West Exodus. I can talk about famous people in this scenario, and that's why I talk about it and I love it so much. If you like. And let's think of another game. If you like Kings of War, talk about the Vasilians and them. Talk about the Night Stalkers and how they're literally demons from hell, which actually fell from heaven. And, get people excited about that. Talk about Warpath. Talk about the GCPS and how it's like to live under that, corporatistic dictatorship where your value, or why the Astarians are so close to extinction that they can't fight their battles anymore. They literally have to send out robots to fight for them. Talk about it. Talk about it excitement. Talk about how great it is to play these games. And honestly, talk about your favourite. And this is it. And with Battletech being number 3, I think this is working. Word of mouth is the best form of advertising we have for Wargaming, because you don't really see there is no adverts for it, actually. You don't see any advertising for Battletech on YouTube, on whatever TV channel or cable channel you watch, or on the radio. There is no advertising. There's no posters anywhere. They're all localized into our local gaming shops, and that's where we see them, and that's where we know what to pick up. We know which shelves are full of what army and where to see them. So there you go, and that's my thoughts. This is why I think Battletech becoming number 3 is so important, because it is showing that there are games out there which people are playing, and you can get into something new, and you don't have to stick to the same one, and you can start talking about your favourite. Talk about which models you like and why you like them. Talk about that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. This is just my little video about talking about wargaming and how it helps. I suppose I don't even know how I'm going to entitle this, but yep, why Battletech? Why Battletech becoming number 3 is so important. Or why Battletech is so important. That's a good title, isn't it? Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one, and God, I love you guys. Thanks for all the support, and love seeing your messages down below. Keep at it. I do like reading them. And don't use bad language. I'm not because I'm against bad language. It's literally because YouTube will block it, and it takes me an age to try and find it. I'll see one comment and I can't find it. I respond it, it's not there, and I have to go through everything just to try and find your comment. And I don't like doing that because it's not fair on you that I can't read your comment and respond honestly or faithfully to you guys. Okay, so no bad language on that front alone. Well, thank you very much for watching. Link to Wayland Games down below, as always. If you want to save money on your wargaming, they have loads there. I would honestly go and get some Wild West Exodus. It's fantastic. It's a fun game. The models look great. And all Dystopia Wars, also fun and great. There is my comics and merchandise, you know, t-shirts, mugs, etc., etc. My comics are horror-based, and they're based on Red Riding Hood, cyborg werewolves, and Cthulhu and Lovecrafted monsters. There is Forbidden Planet with all the other comics, DC, Marvel, Image. And of course there is Patreon, as always. Before you give me money, treat yourself to something nice, because you're worth it. Bye bye!